Bula, my name is AVANSHNA Priyashree, ID S11184175, and this is my ed350 microteaching assignment 1, which is on English. So let's start. Today we will be learning on sentence structure, syntax, clause. So class, what is a clause? A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb that has a relationship and conveys either a complete or incomplete idea. The examples of clauses: she waits. She waits is a clause. She waits for me is a sentence. It's an idea, it's a complete sentence. People follow is a clause. People follow the rule is a sentence. I want to be an artist. This is a sentence. This is a clause. Now, as we discussed, a clause has a subject and a verb. A subject, what is a subject? A subject is a part of sentence that contains a subject, that contains a person or thing performing the action. Again, subject is a part of sentence that contains a person or thing performing that action. That's a verb. Like, go move on to a first example. Jennifer walked to the store. Can someone tell me what is the subject in this sentence? Jennifer is the subject. Walked is a verb. After lunch, I will call my mother. I here is the subject. Will call is the verb. You were a great singer. You is the subject. Were is a verb. You were a great is a verb. Mosquito bites. Itch. Mosquito bites is a subject, while itch is a verb. And that's why I like an apple. This is a incomplete sentence, but it is an idea. So it is it has a subject. That's why it has a subject. Subject and a verb, like. Moving on. Independent clauses. Independent clauses. A clause that can stand on its own, has grammatically correct sentences and conveys a complete idea. That's a independent clause. An independent clause contains a subject, a predicate, and makes sense by itself. Example: I ate the pineapple. I is the subject. Ate the pineapple is the verb or predicate. What is a predicate? A predicate is a part of the sentence or clause that contains a verb and stating something about the subject. It is a verb and stating something about the subject. It tells more about the verb. It states something about the verb. The bear rode. The bear is the subject. Rode is the predicate. Likewise, Maureen pointed out to the monster. Maureen is the subject. Pointed out the monster is the predicate. That's not our pet. Our here is the subject. That's not our pet. Pet rabbit, sorry. That's not our pet rabbit. That's not pet rabbit is a predicate. I've already explained what a predicate is. So basically, in an independent clause, it must have a subject plus a verb which will make a sentence. A independent sentence. Activity. We will do the first two activities together and the rest you will do on your own. The book was written by Mary. The book is the subject. Was written by Mary is the predicate. The foolish man lost his wallet again. The foolish man here is the subject. Lost his wallet again is what class? Is the predicate. Predicate. The mad barking dog woke the boys up. Which is why I like apples. I do not know. Oh, these three are supposed to be done by you. I give you 2 minutes to complete this activity, then we discuss. The mad barking dog. What is this class? This is the subject. Woke the boys up is the predicate. How can you say that this is the predicate? Because it has a verb. Verb, woke is a verb. And this explains what it has done. The boys up, woke the boys up. Which is why I like apples. Is this a independent clause? No, this is not a independent clause. Not a independent clause. Why? Because it has a conjunction. When there is a conjunction, it cannot be a complete sentence. This is not a complete idea, which is why I like apple. So this is wrong. This is not a independent clause. I do not know. What about this? Is this a independent clause? Yes, it is. I is the subject. Do not know is the predicate. Moving on. Dependent clauses. A clause that cannot stand on its own is a grammatically correct sentence and can convey an incomplete idea. Note, a conjunction is a dependent clause is followed by a conjunction. A conjunction is always attached to the dependent clause, and it is what makes the idea incomplete. Conjunctions are linking words that can connect to a sentence. Example, while the salmon flopped. While here is a conjunction. If we remove or hide while, the salmon flop is a sentence, is a proper sentence. It gives an idea, right? It's dependent. Sorry, it's independent. But when you add while, it becomes it becomes dependent because it has a conjunction while the seven flow. Likewise, moving on, that she saw last night. That here is a conjunction. She saw last night makes a sentence, right? Gives an idea that this sentence is trying to tell us something. She saw last night. But when we add that, it becomes a dependent clause because of the conjunction. Unless I'm mistaken. Unless here is a conjunction. I'm mistaken is a verb. Subject and verb. I am a subject and mistaken is a verb. Basically, for to identify a dependent clause, it always has a subordinate conjunction plus plus subject plus verb. That gives us a incomplete dependent sentence. That's not a sentence. It's because it's a dependent clause. Just as we discussed in our previous example, the bear rode. The bear rode. If we take this example over here, while the semen flow, while the semen flow, this becomes a complete sentence. This is a independent clause. Because it can stand on its own. The bear rode, comma, while add a conjunction, the semen flow becomes complete sentence. This now becomes a complete sentence. This dependent clause. That she saw last night. Maureen pointed out the monster. This is a independent clause. When added that she saw last night, this conjunction added here makes it a complete sentence. Maureen pointed out the monster that she saw last night. Dependent clause. That's not our pet rabbit. Comma, unless I'm mistaken. I'm mistaken is a dependent clause. Now added to the sentence, it makes a complete sentence. It makes sense, and it has, because the sentence has an idea. Moving on to our activity. In order for the system to work, you have to identify the conjunction, subject and the predicate. Class, we will do this activity together. In order. What is this? In order. In order is a conjunction. For the system to work, the system is a subject. To work is a predicate. Neither one is worthy. Neither is a conjunction. One is worthy is the subject. Since we cannot call him. What is this? Since we cannot call him. What is the conjunction here? Very good. Since. is the conjunction. Cannot call him is the subject. Call him, call is a predicate. Because it is sweet. Because is a conjunction. It is a subject. Is sweet is a predicate. I like chocolate. What is this? I like chocolate. This is a independent clause because it is a complete sentence. I like chocolate. I is the subject. Like is the verb. This becomes a predicate. Like chocolate becomes a predicate. So this is not a dependent clause. This is an independent clause because it is a complete sentence and it is a complete idea. It makes sense. It can stand on its own, while these cannot because it has a conjunction in front of them. What is a conjunction? As discussed, a conjunction is always attached to a dependent clause and it is what makes the idea incomplete. So this does not have a conjunction. So it makes it a complete sentence. To conclude this entire discussion, independent clauses. What are independent clauses, class? Is grouping of words that can stand alone as its own sentence. It must have, independent clause must have these three things: a subject, an action or a predicate. This is basically a verb and something that explains that verb, and a complete thought. This is a complete thought, while this is not, since we cannot call him. Since what? We don't know. It's not a complete thought because it is sweet. What is sweet? So it is not complete. While dependent clause must have these three things: subject, predicate. It has subject, predicate, and does not expresses a complete thought, like I have explained here and here. It does not have a complete thought. So class, I'd like to ask you guys to do the next set of activities for our next class. And that's it for this micro teaching presentation. Thank you.